Hello everybody, how are you? Today we are going to talk about an important math concept called congruent polygons. Two polygons are congruent if number 1, their corresponding sides are equal in length. Number 2, their corresponding angles are equal in measure, and vice versa. In this example, in the opposite figure, if A, B, C, D congruent with polygon X, Y, Z, L, so AB equal XY, BC equal YZ, CD equal ZL, and DA equal LX. Look at this side lengths. AB equal the side lengths XY, and BC congruent YZ, and the measure of angle A equal the measure of angle X, and measure of angle B equal measure of angle Y, measure of angle C equal measure of angle of Z, and the measure of D equal measure of angle L. So we can write this sign. It refers to corresponding to ABCD corresponding the polygon XYZL, where the symbol is read as is congruent to. The symbol is read as is congruent to. Note that we should write the two congruent polygons in the same order of their corresponding vertex. It means that if A corresponding to X, B corresponding to Y, C corresponding to Z, and D corresponding to L, then we can say that BCDA is congruent to YZLX, or CDAB is corresponding to ZLXY, and so on. Okay, again, then we can say that BCDA is corresponding to YZLX, or CDAB is corresponds to ZLXY, and so on. Checkpoint. If the polygon XYZL is congruent to the polygon MNLO, then complete. XY equal space. Look at this polygon and this polygon. We know that XY is congruent to MN. You can see it again. The polygon XYZL is corresponding to the polygon MNLO, so XY equal MN, this side. And YZ, what about YZ? Look at YZ and ML, they are congruent. Okay, we write ML. And what about ZL? ZL is congruent to LO, and LX is congruent to OM. And what about measure of angle of M? Measure of angle of M, look at, is congruent to X, measure of angle X, and measure of angle of N is congruent to measure of angle of Y. measure of angle of L, okay, L and Z. L congruent to Z, or L congruent to O, because we have two L in two polygon. So when we write measure of angle of L in this polygon, we will write O, measure of angle O, and measure of angle of O congruent equal to measure of angle L. So measure of angle of O equal measure of angle of L. Again, measure of angle of M equal measure of angle of X, measure angle of N equal measure of angle of Y, measure of angle L equal measure of angle of O, measure of angle O equal measure of angle L. So, question 3, the polygon XYZL X or YZLX, reading again, YZLX, YZLX, write NLOM, NLON. Example 2, complete. The two rectangles ABCD and XYZL are congruent if AB equal, look at AB equal XY, and BC is equal to YZ. Okay, we will write YZ here. Another example, from the opposite figures, complete. Triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle ABCF, right? XY is equal to AB, and BC equal to YZ, and ZA XACA is congruent to ZX. Okay, you can write it. XY is equal to AP, and YZ equal to BC, and XZ equal AC. Checkpoint and complete. A. The rectangle whose two dimensions are 3 cm and 5 cm is congruent to the rectangle whose two dimensions are 3 cm and 5 cm. Again, the rectangle whose two dimensions are 3 cm and 5 cm is congruent to the rectangle whose two dimensions 3 cm and 5 cm. Okay. Two triangles are congruent if only their corresponding sides are equal in length. If only, right here, only their corresponding sides are equal in length. Two triangles are congruent if only their corresponding sides are equal in length. Look at these examples. Are their figures congruent? Write the answer as example. To become sure, you can use a sheet of tracking paper. Okay. they are congruent. No. Congruent? Yes or no? It's no, because it's circle and not circle. Yes, congruent. No, congruent. Yes, congruent. And this, yes, congruent if you rotate it, and this triangle congruent with this. Question 2. Join each figure in group A to its congruent figure from group B as example. Look at this triangle congruent this, and rectangle congruent this rectangle, triangle and triangle, circle and circle. Okay, it's easy. Understood? Another example. In the opposite figure, if triangle ABC is corresponding to the triangle KLM, then complete. AC, line segment AC, is congruent to AC. AC line segment is congruent to KM. Right here, line segment, KM line segment. B, LM line segment is congruent to LM and BC. You can see it, line segment BC. Angle B is congruent to angle L, angle L. KL is equal to AP is equal to 5 centimeter. Okay. Another example. In the opposite figure, if triangle ABC is congruent to the triangle XYZ, then AB is congruent to AP is congruent to XY. Can you see it? It's very easy for you. A, B, XY, and AC equal XZ. So EC is congruent to XZ equal 7 centimeter. And PC is congruent to YZ line segment. Don't forget this. Okay, we must try it. Angle C is congruent to angle Z. Measure of angle of P equal measure of angle of Y equal 120 degree. Another example. In the opposite figure, if triangle APC is congruent to triangle XYZ, then measure of angle of A equal to measure of angle of X. Measure of angle of A is equal to measure angle of X equal 40 degree, and measure of angle of Z equal measure of angle of C. Who can find the measure of angle of Z? We can find the result by adding 40 to 90 degree and then subtract from 180 degree. 180 subtract 90 plus 40. The result will be 50 degree. So the measure of angle of C equal to 50 degree. So measure of angle of Z equal 50 degree. AC equal AC equal space centimeter. Look at EC is congruent to XZ, and the length of AC equal the length of XZ. It will be 7 centimeter. And what about AP? Where AP? Look at AP is congruent to XY. The length will be 4 centimeter. Look at this example. Choose the correct answer in each of the following. If the figure ABCD is congruent to the figure XYZL, then angle A is congruent to angle X. Okay, choose this. And what about B? If triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle LMNZ, LM side length is congruent to where LM here. Look at LM and XY. So the line segment of LM is congruent to the line segment of XZ, LM and XY. Again, LM and XY. Okay, LM and XY right here, XY, and put line segment over it. Complete. Look at this example. Question A. Two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length. Right here, equal in length or length. Again, two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length and their corresponding angles are equal in measure. P. The diagonal of the rectangle divides it into congruent triangle. The diagonal of the rectangle divides it into two congruent triangle. Letter C. Two squares are congruent if their side length of one of them is equal to the side length of the other. The side length of the other. Okay. Letter D. Two rectangles are congruent if the two dimensions of one of them are spaced to the dimensions of the other rectangle. You will write equal. Again, two rectangles are congruent if the two dimensions of one of them are equal to the two dimensions of the other rectangle. Another question. Put true or false. Put true in front of the correct statement and X in front of the incorrect one. Letter A. A square can be congruent to a circle. No, it's wrong. It's false. Letter B. A square of side length 7 cm can be congruent to the rectangle of dimension 7 cm and 5 cm. No, it's wrong. Put X here. Letter C. Two right angle triangle are congruent if the two sides of the right angle in the first triangle are equal to the two corresponding sides of the right angle in the other. It's true. Again, two right angle, the first and the second, two right angles Two right angle triangle are congruent if the two sides of the right angle in the first are equal to the two corresponding sides of the right angle in the other. It's true. Letter D. Two squares are congruent if their side lengths are equal. Again, two squares are congruent if their side lengths are equal. It's true. Letter E. Two triangles are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length. True. Letter F. The diagonal of the rectangle divides it into congruent triangle. Yes, it's true. Again, the diagonal of rectangle divides it into two congruent triangle. Look at this. Look at this rectangle. This diagonal can divide it into congruent. Letter G. A scalene triangle can be congruent to an isosceles triangle. It's wrong. How is that? No, it's wrong. Letter H. Two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length. 2. It's true. It's wrong. We have another condition. Two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length and the two corresponding angles are equal in measure. Look at this example. Draw a line in each of the following figure to get two congruent figures if possible. Who can solve it? It's isosceles trapezium. We can draw by ruler line segment here to divide it into parts are congruent. This is scalene triangle. We can't draw anything. Square, we can draw 4 line segment. Each of other can divide it into two things, such that when we draw line segment here, we'll divide it square into parts. The shape square congruent to the other shape, and if you draw this line segment here, you will convert and divide it the square into triangle are congruent. Parallelogram have it any symmetry, but if you draw this diagonal to congruent, this I draw here, two triangle are congruent, okay, and this regular hexagon has 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We can draw 6, 5 here because it's regular, 5 and 6.